Afternoon, everyone. James Hicks here from INFOtainment News. I'm here with my colleague Eric Burks on another segment of INFOtainment News Live. Tonight, we are interviewing someone who is sitting in a better room than my office. If you look at my background and you look at the ambiance in his, he's definitely doing something good, which is why we've got Mr. Ken Collis on the line. Ken, how are you doing, man?
Good. How are you? Hi, James. Hi, Eric. How are you guys doing?
How are you doing?
We're fantastic, fantastic. So Ken is the co-founder and CEO of 21 Marketing, based out of Southern California. Hicks New Media and INFOtainment News have done some promotions with your organization before. We've been on the red carpet and done some celebrity interviews and promotions, things of that nature.
Right.
What I wanted to do today with Eric online as well with you, Ken, is just to talk about you, your story, where you are today, and kind of also where you see 21 Marketing going in the future. So that being said, give us a little background on the Ken Collis story.
The Ken Collis story. Well, it started about 40 years ago, and I got to tell you, it's funny because I posted something this morning that on Facebook, and Facebook is sort of my private little world. And Twitter is my newspaper, and Instagram's my newspaper to the world. But Facebook is very private to me. And I posted something this morning because I had some fond memories last night of where I was and where I am today, and how I never will lose who I truly am. But to make a long story short, and I'll go into a little bit of that, I came from a family of all boys. And an amazing mother and father. I went to private school, Catholic school when I was younger, graduated Catholic school, St. Genevieve's, and then went into college at university-Northridge. It all sounds fine and dandy, but of course, in between those years, I was also a teenager, and I was a crazy teenager. So I was that guy that got involved in gangs and used to be the rebel, and I was a bad boy. I was an Italian little gangster growing up. And even though I went to Catholic school, I graduated with great grades. I always had my great grades. And my father always taught me, he said, you got to have hard work ethic in education, but the key to anything is to work a lot. Work a lot, work a lot. So I started working at the young age of 14. I worked at 31 Flavors. I got fired about...
Wow, wait a minute, 31 Flavors. You're really flashing back there. You almost dated yourself there.
Well, and you know what, James? This is the funny part, guys, is that I got fired because I put too much whipped cream on the sundaes.
That's hilarious.
Isn't that hilarious? Well, I love 31 Flavors. They taught me so much. They taught me how to never get fired again. But everyone has to get fired to be something in life. So anyway, so that's my call to success, was 31 Flavors. So in any case, I worked through the food industry while going to college. I worked as the district manager for El Pollo Loco and McDonald's. I learned some of the best customer service skills. I got to tell you that when people say you're flipping burgers, you're not just flipping burgers. You're learning a lot about people. And that's how I became what I truly, it's part of my foundation where I became today. So I graduated from Cal State Northridge, and I had my BA, Business Administration, with my undergrad in marketing, and proudly I left the food industry and started in a very different type of world. After I got rid of all of my craziness and my wildness, and I got married at the age of 20, and realized, you know what, I needed to make something of my life. The streets aren't going to make me anything. I don't own the streets. The government's making all the money on the streets. I'm making none of it. So I turned around and said, you know what, I'm either going to run for Senate, or I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to get into something different. And I started in the credit card processing arena.
Right.
And yeah, it was quite the change. I was this, guy that started out of college, and I went right into sales. I never sold in my lifetime before that. And I started in selling credit card terminal insurance sales for Card Service International. And they were amazing. I'll never forget my first day of work. I was on my way in, and I said to myself, I'm going to turn around, I can't do this. And I then said, I will never forget, I was on the 101 freeway, and Eric, you're familiar, and I was on my way to Calabasas, and I said, I'm going to turn around, I'm going to get on the off-ramp right now and turn around because I can't do this. There's no way I can sell. I'll go back to El Pollo Loco or go back into food. And I said, no, something has got to change here. I've got to change my life. I love money. I'm addicted to, to success. I got to do this. And I went. And I started selling credit card insurance for terminals. And I quickly grew to be among the #1 seller at Card Service in this department. And proudly, I stayed there for about 2 years. I got called into the human resource department one day, and I'll never forget this. They're no longer in business, so I could talk about it. The human resource director told me, "You're making more than a senior vice president." That's a big problem.
You got a gift somewhere. You got a gift.
James, honestly, I said, look, I'm too young to be a senior vice president of anything. I didn't know anything. And I said, okay, so is that a problem? I didn't understand it. And she goes, it's a big problem. And so we have to change your compensation plan. Wow. I said, oh, no, we're not doing this. Welcome to corporate America, which I greatly respect, but just not when I'm the one at the bottom of the ladder. And so I turned around and said, you know what, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to start with an independent office. So Card Service America, Aller Cuyo, good man, he took a risk and hired me in, and he said, look, you're married, you have no kids yet, if you have to sleep in the car, you sleep in the car, but this is a risk you're going to take. Yeah. And oddly enough, at the time, I was doing really well, and I said, you know what, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to take the risk. And I started with Card Service America, and I worked there as one of their stellar, salespeople for about 2 years. I grew my way up the ladder there, and I did become a vice president. And then I went ahead and I started my entrepreneurial lifestyle. I started my own company. I started bank card processing with my business partner. And guys, it was absolutely amazing. We started in a small little office and grew and grew and grew. I remember we used to sell direct mailers and would actually bring all of our friends in and bring all of, the energy to be able to stamp these and put the labels on them and send them out. And we started to get hundreds and hundreds of calls of, businesses that wanted to work with us. And we weren't the most educated businessmen, but we were the most tenacious businessmen. Okay. And I could tell you that meant a lot because we worked 13 hours a day. We worked very hard. And at that point, we started getting looked at. So we got looked at by a company by the name of AuthorizeNet. And I'm sure you're familiar with Authorize.net. Mm-hmm. They were the first online credit card processing gateway, 32 bits encrypted. No one else out there did what they were doing. So they looked at us and said, look, we're getting ready to go public and we need a sales team. And you look like you guys could lead the sales force. So we went ahead and we went through all of the contractual bases and became one. I remember I had 2 amazing business partners that were older and very due diligent and very respectful, and they knew all the ins and outs of being businessmen, and I was just a young 25-year-old, had no idea what I was doing. And I learned so much, and we became public. Proudly, we took the stock from 10 cents to $17, so you can imagine what that did in my lifetime. And I went from this, as Jenny Rivera said before her death about 1.5 years ago, not bad for this homie from Panorama City, that really learned the morals of business and grew with it. So we went public, and I stayed in finance up until about 9.5 years ago. And then I met a mutual friend of Clear Channel Communications, which you guys are familiar with. And I started over at Clear Channel. I was making $1,200 a month and said, okay, this is definitely a stepping stone for where I want to go because the kind of money that I'm used to, this is not where it's currently at. But I believe in it. I love marketing. I have a desire to look at where my retirement's going to be, what I want to do that's going to be fun, and something I really love. Because finance is great, but it could get boring. So I wanted something that's a little bit more relevant. So James and Eric, I went ahead and I started representing their 8 stations, and I did a lot of strategic alignments. I met my business partner, Tracy, and we started to build up something that no one ever saw. We started to build up marketing and radio, where it's typically advertising, and we took the celebrity, the brand, and the nonprofit and built a trifecta and grew it to be absolutely amazing. And Top Stellar did everything great there. And then one day we met a small family by the name of the Kardashians.
Small family.
Who's that?
Right, those people. And we met them, and they asked us to work very closely with them. So at the blessing of a lot of industry leaders, as well as the Greg Ashlock over at Clear Channel, the Kardashians, and even Seacrest, we went ahead and we started TLK Fusion. Mm-hmm. And TLK Fusion is where it all started. We were a celebrity licensing firm and a PR firm. And we had a very successful 5 years, and about 4 years in, I said, look, I've got to do something that's different. Publicists are publicists, and we respect them and love them, but my brands need to see more. My celebrities are seeing so much, but my brands need to see more. So we went ahead and we said, we're going to start building in distribution aspects. We're going to start building in celebrity alignments and testimonials for the brands we work for. We're going to start building social media because that's so important. And of course, PR, publicity. And we then went ahead and invested over $1 million to build up distribution channels, where now we have relationships with everyone from Saks Fifth Avenue to Carnival Cruise Lines to Walmart. We have one-on-one relationships, over 800 of those relationships around the world. And now we have something that's solid that we could offer a business owner or a celebrity that wants to launch a product. How do they do it? Well, we have the relationships to do it. Right. So we built the 4 concrete strategic business elements, as we call them, for brands and celebrities. And we said we're not going to charge a lot of money. We're going to make it very cost efficient, more inexpensive than a full-time employee, but with guaranteed results. And we started 21. And since we started 21, we have about a 350% growth. The company started mid-year last year, and proudly, I gotta say, we are now the industry leader, and we won't let anybody take advantage of what we've built, because we want our brands and our celebrities to have nothing more than pure success.
That's fantastic. That's fantastic. And I promise I will never call it 777 again.
That's okay though, James. We like that, because what does 777 equal?
Well, that's I'm looking at the Roman numerals, and I said, VI 77. No, and Tracy quickly.
Yes, correct us right away.
I loved it.
Corrected you, right, guys?
I love it. So let me ask a question about what you built, and so it's interesting to see that how everything that you matured into actually kind of came out of a selling mentality, right? You started out in a business where you said, I don't want to sell, I don't want to go to this job because this isn't me, but at the end of the day, you're selling either yourself, a product, and or a service.
Right.
Is this new avenue or this new direction that you're taking, public relations and marketing, was this not there in the industry before? Or what's separating you from the other agencies out there in the marketplace right now? Is it those various pillars that you said you created, or those various foundations and formulas? What is it?
Well, here's what it is, James. A lot of brands feel like they need to invest hundreds of thousands of dollars to be successful. Look, we work with the major brands. Okay, we know what it's like to drop $1 million budgets, and that's fine. They need to eat up market space. They need that. But small to mid-sized brands that just want to become successful don't need to invest a lot of money. They need simply 4 different ways to show a return on investment. And all the brands that we work for understand the culture that we've developed. We don't call it anything more than a culture, because whether you're 21 Celebs or you're 21 from the brand side, everyone has the same culture. It's very much the mentality of, you scratch my back, I'll scratch yours. I need your relationships, you need mine. It's very much so what we've built. So I know, as a business owner of many, many businesses, I've owned everything from resorts in Cabo to liquor stores to candy shops to pieces of, major candy chains. I've owned a lot of different businesses, and I know that at the end of the day, the biggest thing is to drive traffic into your location or to get your product sold on the majors. So that's it. I mean, how you do it and get there doesn't have to be so complex. So many business owners want to put these business plans together and strategies. Throw that out the door. Business plans are a thing of the 80s. Who's that guy business plans anymore? You need to understand that you don't need all that. You need capital to be able to create your product. You need a very, very small budget to be able to take your brand to that next level and use a firm like us to do it, because you're not going to find the employee that could do it all. Because, I mean, I've been in business for over 20 years, and I can tell you that the distribution side and the celebrity side is extremely complex, guys. It's not something that you could just do on your own. You need a team to do that. And so business owners just need to be able to utilize, a very minimal budget, but with high guaranteed results. That's it.
All right. So at the end of the day, you're providing that true value, right, to your clients, and they're seeing that not just in the, and I'm going to summarize, not in the dollars that they're putting out, but actually in the actions as well, right? So how you're representing them at these particular events and things of that nature. So they are seeing some true value in terms of what 21 Marketing is providing them.
All right, because James and Eric understand that event marketing is different, advertising is different. What we're truly giving is a business plan and a business model that is the culture and a voice of all brands to be able to utilize to grow their brand non-traditionally. Most brands don't know how to do this. I mean, imagine if you open up, let's say, James and Eric, that you guys create this amazing new skincare. Okay, and this skincare will get rid of pimples within 3 hours. Okay, but you have a limited budget, you've put together the samples for $10,000, you have a remaining budget of maybe $15,000 or $20,000 a year, and you're like, okay, what do I do with this? Well, most people will say, I'll buy 3 television ads, or I'll buy, you guys know how frequency in radio works, I'll buy a week of radio, I'll do this and that. No, throw it out the door. You do that when you're McDonald's or you're, or when you're Coca-Cola. Take the $15,000, contact a firm, because we are the only ones that do this, that will give you the 4 key elements. So we'll work on letting the world know about you with PR and social media, align celebrities, and we know statistically 67% of consumers will utilize or purchase a product or service more if a celebrity's aligned with it, and they don't have to pay $100 million to do it, or $1 million to do it. And then last but not least, get the product on the shelves. Give them the opportunity to get their products on the shelves of boutiques, of cruise lines, of major box retailers, of grocers, where they're going to be able to make the kind of money that they need to continue building their brand. Suck in, spit out, suck in, spit out. That's the way that it works in business.
See, and Eric, I'm going to let you chime in right there, but this is an interesting conversation because I'm dealing with some of this as well. And you're really talking about what the future of public relations is. So this is almost a selfish question that I'm asking because I'm actually writing a piece for airpr.com tonight that needs to be, and the title of it is, What is the Future of PR? And you're really talking about where we've come from, in terms of, again, needing business plans, needing all of this stuff, to where now it's more about action, it's more about incremental growth as opposed to trying to make that big bang at one time, but it's more, and I don't know if I'm putting words into your mouth, but this is what I'm hearing coming from you. What do you see as that future of public relations, PR?
Well, I'm going to tell you that we are the future of PR.
I like that. Write that down. That's it right there.
That's it. I mean, everything that I've given you, James and Eric, 21 is the future of PR, because we've already began, and I'm not going to give my secret sauce out just yet, unless you pay me for an exclusive. But we're already looking at, my clients are Coca-Cola, my clients are, Nelly Galan. We sit and we talk, and I listen to what the leaders in marketing are stating, and I got to tell you that we've got different alignments in marketing that are far beyond what anybody's even thinking right now that our company is already prepared to launch. In social media, there are avenues. I mean, everyone looks at Vine and says, what's Vine doing? What's Instagram video doing? Well, I can tell you, we've got a full plan already for our clients that's going to be able to launch them ahead of the game before any other PR firm gets them there. Because clearly, we're not your normal PR firm.
Right.
Yeah, we're a pop culture PR firm, and yeah, we have a celebrity division, and yeah, we do social media. Well, everyone could do that. You go pay somebody $500 a month out of a home in, Wichita, Kansas to do that. Okay, right. Where we differ is we're your voice, we're your culture, we're your
what I want to hear. There you go. That's what I want to hear.
Future. Just behind you, you have Obama talking about change. He implemented a lot of change. We implemented a lot of change into this industry. We are the new age of PR. All the old age needs to move out because the new is coming in. And frankly, brands don't need to pay an arm and a leg to get it. They just don't. It's ridiculous, some of these fees I hear them paying.
That's cool.
Yeah, I think you're right.
That's a whole other conversation. That's it right there. That is the essence of what I was looking for. Eric, I'm sorry. Go. It's all you, man.
I get it. I get it. It's all about change because I mean everyone's doing it a certain way already for so many years. But you know the economy and the market's only going to take so much. I mean, at some point you got to change. I mean, they're looking at changing, you know, congressional laws and things of that nature. So I think you guys are on the right move. I think it's a smart decision. Having said that, looking at what you're doing, do you have a set target market, or is it just you know whoever needs it, we're your voice for whoever needs it?
No, you know what? We're extremely. I don't want to say that we're extremely choosy, but we have to make sure there's two key factors with anyone we work for. Our personalities need to mesh. Right. And they have to fully understand the culture that we're delivering, and they have to be part of the culture. So if, you know, as in within any marriage, you're going to have, you know, obviously your clashes and your objections to each other. But when it comes to business, there has to be an understanding of how we work and what our model is. So that's important, first off. Second is we have to believe in the product or the service that we're going to represent. If at one time anyone on our team, especially the executive team, doesn't feel it with a 10 plus, level 10 plus we call it, then we move on and we just don't entertain it. Will I be here to give them advice free of charge whenever they need it? Yes. I'm here free of charge for anybody and anything because I love people and I love business owners. Anyone that takes that step to become an entrepreneur and self-employed business owner has got 100% of my backing, period. I don't care who you are, what you're selling. It could be anything. I'm there to protect and back you. But we may not choose to work with you because we may not be able to show the results. And we're not the last company that's ever going to take your money and not be able to show the results you want. We're a pop culture firm, so you have to be very much so aligned with the level of wanting to be a current day pop culture company.
Right.
I mean, that makes a lot of sense. I mean, you definitely don't want to. I'm a firm believer. You can't sell a product. I mean, people sell like network marketing, all that stuff, but if you can't sell it if you don't believe in it, and I get that. I get that. If you don't feel that vibe coming back from whoever the client may be, then of course, yeah, I wouldn't move forward on it either. So that's a good idea. So you're basically just starting a whole new business model, way of working, way of thinking.
Yeah, I don't, and you know, there's certain people that we just had a new brand walk in here today, and she goes, "Ken, I've been paying $3,000 to $4,000 a month for the last 3 years," and she goes, "And I've got 10." Yeah, I got 10 placements. She goes, and now they're telling me that they want me to pay for celebrities, want me to do this, that. And look at, guys, I'm not bashing my competition. They work hard. Everyone in this industry works extremely hard. This is one of the hardest industries to be in. This is why everyone charges what they charge. I just don't believe in it. I'm a frugal man. I mean, I've made a lot of money. I've done very well in my life. But at the same token, I don't believe in spending carelessly. And especially the business owners that want to work with us, I just don't believe in it. So when they come in and spend, between $1,000 and $2,000 a month, and get 3 times more of results than what my competition, which I don't really have much, but people who claim to be competition could deliver, then it makes sense from all levels to be able to work with a firm like ourselves because they become a part of our culture.
Okay.
That's what it's all about.
Yeah. I like that. I'm a big believer in culture myself. Early on in my professional career, I worked for Apple, and at Apple we talk a lot about culture and the culture, that whatever that may be. But again, just having that kind of that synergy around folks internally and externally, so it just makes a lot of sense again and we can actually, I can tell the passion that's coming out of your voice as you're talking about where you are and where you want to go. I'm quite sure that the brands and the celebrities and the folks that come in to work with 21 Marketing feel that and see that as well. So they'll open the checkbook and say, you know what, we want to work with you on these next endeavors.
And you know what, James, it's funny that you bring that up because, James, Eric, I'm going to tell you something. This morning I posted something very personal on Facebook, and it's a perfect place to go with this because where I came from, and I came from a middle-class American family. My grandparents, are Italian, and I'm Italian 100%, but they immigrated in and didn't speak a word of English and became millionaires. And when my grandparents died, they owned a McDonald's, and they still had 1 automobile, and they had a 2-bedroom home that they purchased 35 years before. And that's what they believed in living in. And so that's the frugal environment that I've always been around. But mind you, I love cars, I love shoes, I love sunglasses, and there's certain things that I do enjoy. But when it comes down to where I came from, when I got married and I had nothing, I was the type of person that always wanted to do it myself. I didn't ever want a dollar coming from anybody. I always told my parents, if you want to give me something, just give me groceries, and they did a lot of times. But we lived in a single apartment with cockroaches, infested with cockroaches. No matter where you would go in the apartment, you know, in inner city America, it was full of it. And I remember my wife and I would literally go and get a 99-cent Whopper. Remember those days?
Oh, I love them. I worked at Burger King, so you were at 31 Flavors. I was at Burger King.
There you go, right? So I was getting fired for that. You're probably getting fired for, you know, charging extra. But in any case, so we would go and we would literally get the cheeseburger and we would cut it in half and that would be dinner. You know, I remember scrambling for change to put 1 gallon of gas to get to that next interview. So the biggest thing for me is I don't spend money frivolously, and I don't want my brands to. And that's why I tell them. That's why when they come in, they feel me, because my energy that you feel, this is a real Ken. Whether I'm talking on Facebook and literally talking to a guy that's like, Ken, I just want to be an actor and I just need that help. And I'm like, well, go and get 2 jobs, be a waiter, be a busboy, and then become an actor. You know, that's what you need to do. So I'm that guy. So it comes from my heart, because I've been through so much, as you guys both have, I'm sure.
Fantastic.
Well, that's awesome. I think it's an amazing story. I think you have a very amazing story. I think you have a very amazing future, and you're still young, so you got a long time to enjoy. Enjoy it.
I want to be able to truly leave a legacy of what we've created. I mean, that's really what it's all about. I tell Tracy that every day. It's like, you know, we've created something so good that there's no reason why people wouldn't take advantage of it.
Yeah.
Right.
And we do get that. We have brands that say it's too good to be true. Where's wrong? And then they start with us, and then, you know, we get, just the other day, we got a comment from Jericho Hummus. You know, they're a big hummus company, and, you know, they're our client, and he goes, you know, I don't know the exact words, but it was very much so, you know, you undersold yourself on your pricing, because your deliverables are far more intense than we would have ever dreamed. Wow. You know, and so, you know, you've got these types of, you know, responses and feedback that come from the clients, and at the end of the day, that's what makes me happy. Yeah, you've done good. That's what it's all about.
At the end of the day, that's what it is, right? You've done good, and to get that affirmation from a client is what we strive for.
Exactly.
Let me ask you this. So just a couple more questions, and then we'll be cognizant of your time. We've talked about entrepreneurship. We've talked about where you started from, where you are today. The youngsters that are out there, you know, the folks that are interested in becoming entrepreneurs, starting their own business. What kind of advice would you give someone, not just in high school or in college, someone maybe mid-30s, mid-40s, something, looking to make that break from a corporate America and actually become an entrepreneur themselves?
First off, I think that whoever wants to make that leap needs to have some sort of small financial backing. I think a lot of brands or a lot of entrepreneurs tend to leave their job and not have a single penny to survive while they're building their brand, because there's nothing more aggravating than when you can't pay the bills. You know, you want to have a clean mental state because you're building a brand, and it's far more than just that idea that you have. So, you know, utilize, you know, these websites that help you raise money, you know, and I'm not going to endorse any in particular, but there's plenty of them out there. Get together with, you know, certain business investors that might want to give you a small budget to get started. I think that's key and very important. And I think you also need to truly, truly believe in what you're going to be going after. I mean, if you're going to be creating a new denim line or a new skincare line or a new automobile, believe in it and do it. Otherwise, if you have one bit of
doubt.
One bit of doubt would be the correct word. They don't even bother.
Yeah.
Don't even bother. Okay. But I think from an advice standpoint, those are the key factors. And then I think once you get started, you know, be very careful on who you do business with and utilize, you know, a company or companies that historically have shown proven results. And not necessarily in your realm of business. I don't believe in, I'm very outside the norm. I don't believe in going on the path that everyone follows. I believe in going the opposite direction and doing your own thing. I've always believed that, whether it's fashion or it's, you know, any type of financial investments or it's anything to do with your brand. Always go very non-traditional. I think that's why our firm has been so successful, as have been our clients, because we're always very non-traditional in what everyone else is doing.
Interesting. Interesting.
Important.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
I'm going to ask what's next for you, but I think first I'm going to ask about the tagline that I see: "Marketing is dead, but real marketing is alive." Talk to me a little bit about that.
You know, the passion statement and dream statement, I wrote that. And what I did one day was I shut my office door, and it was late at night, and I let it all come from the heart. And, you know, as of having about, you know, 8, 9 years in this industry and being a business owner myself for, you know, over 17, I said, what do we need to give that we can give? And so I said the first thing is everyone always follows the same trends of marketing. You know, whether it's billboards, it's advertising, or it is, you know, strategic marketing plans, or it's satellite media tours, or whatever. Everyone does the same thing. We've never seen success in most of those realms. We've seen success in our own world. So I said, you know what, we got to throw marketing out the door. It's just not going to work for us. The word market, what I learned in college years ago, and what's being taught today, is not there no more. So let's move out the 1960s, you know, books and bring in the new. And I said, we're going to bring in what's new in our world and what we know works, because it's worked. It worked from the Kardashians all the way to, you know, the major brands we work for. And we said, you know what, we're throwing marketing down and we're bringing in a new level of marketing. It's where it all came from.
Like that. Simple but straight. I like it. I love it at all.
Thank you.
Got any questions, Eric?
You know, I think he covered most of it in his intro. I mean, the questions that I had written down, he was like, he covered it very, very specifically. So I have nothing. It was a pleasure. It was amazing. I can't wait to meet you in person. I've had the pleasure of meeting Tracy and the dynamic family that you guys had there when we were working the red carpet with Victor, and I initially met them at CES at the Victor, at the
Consumer Electronics Show.
CES event, the event in Vegas.
Yeah.
So I actually got to see you guys in action, and it's true to your word. I mean, you guys act like a family. I mean, and the funny thing is that you guys treat. I was nobody at the time, and you guys treated me like I was like. I mean, I was like, man, Tracy, I gotta. Yeah, I can't. I want to always be within you guys' eyes because it's you guys are amazing. You guys, I felt so special. So kudos.
And you know what? We're all about the underdogs. I mean, you know, look at who we represented and built. So we're really big on developing the underdogs and working very closely with partners that just believe in what we're doing. I mean, if you anybody from the street and you believe in what we do, we'll bring you in. That's the way we are.
You guys are amazing. Thank you.
Phenomenal.
Thank you.
So Ken, tell us how can we keep up with you? We know you've got some social media profiles. Anything that you want to share with the audience?
Sure. You could follow, well, of course, always go to our website because we're always updating 21, which is Roman numeral VII.com. And follow me on Twitter. You know, that's my newspaper for everyone. That's, you know, I can't respond back to everybody. I get probably hundreds and hundreds of requests a day in communication, and I love you all. But follow me at Ken Collis, so it's at KenCollis like Sam. And I think that those are your two best ways to follow our family, and you'll see everything that's going on.
Fantastic. And I'll put those in the show notes as well in terms of how to get in touch with you. So, again, wrapping up, James Hicks here with my colleague Eric Burks, and we've been talking with Mr. Ken Collis, CEO and co-founder of 21 Marketing. It's been a phenomenal conversation. We're loving to see the passion and just the realness in your voice in terms of what you're providing, not just your employees, but also the brands and the customers that you represent. So We look forward to continuing to have some long-term partnerships and engagements with you. And Ken, again, thank you very much for taking the time.
Thank you, guys. It's been a pleasure.
All right.